They've come from around the globe, searching for the fast track to open wheel fame. From Norway and America, Venezuela and Canada, they've come to compete for a championship within a championship, the newly christened Visit Florida Cup. Young drivers auditioning on one of the most unforgiving stages in the world, the historic surface of Sebring. Young stars of Star Mazda, ready for the Visit Florida Grand Prix. It's next. Welcome to Sebring, Florida, Sebring International Raceway. Coverage of the Star Mazda Championship. Today it's the Visit Florida Grand Prix, part of the Visit Florida Cup. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Endurance star Johnny O'Connell alongside for our coverage all season, and Todd Lewis will be on pit road for us. We start the season here at this historic venue, the 20th year of the Star Mazda Championship. Johnny, I don't know that there's a better place to come and race these cars.
You know, there really isn't, and a great way to start the season at a circuit where the legends of sports car racing have been competing and winning for years. You know, these young drivers that represent some of the world's best talent, you know, they're going to have their hands full, okay? You know, you've got an older circuit, so you've got parts of the racetrack that are very bumpy. Turn 1, these guys are going to be bouncing all over the place. But we also have great overtaking areas like turn 7 going into 10, long back straightaway going into 17. And over the years, we have seen so many passes take place going into 17 because these cars do draft. A smart driver, he might sit in second place for the final lap or two and then make his move. It always promises to be an exciting event.
Should be a great one today. Let's meet some of the drivers who will start toward the front of the grid. Here's Todd Lewis.
A very international feel here at the front of the field. Pole position goes to Anders Krohn, who will lead them into corner number 1 of the first race. Anderson Racing teammate Mikael Grenier is alongside on the front row. He ran 6 races last year, looking to do the full season this year. And a third member of the Anderson Racing team is here on the inside of row number 2. Tristan Vautier, ready to go. Tristan, can you get ahead of your teammates in corner number 1?
I hope so. It's my first standing start in Star Mazda, so maybe it's gonna be tough, but my practice start was quite good. For sure, I'm not gonna take stupid risk. The race is long, the championship is long. I have my 2 teammates in front of me, so I have to keep my head on, but I'll try to go forward.
Christian will try to make it go into the first corner, and alongside him in row number 2, one of the stars we'll be watching this year, Connor Daly. He had wins last year, got held up in traffic in qualifying, but he's ready to go today.
Johnny, this is a punishing old racetrack. A lot of fun to be here at Sebring.
Yeah, with so much history. We're closing in on 60 years, you know, but the track and its changing surfaces is going to present such a challenge for these guys. You have to be patient in order to make things happen, not get yourself into trouble. But some of the key areas to make your overtaking maneuvers are going into 1. You can use the draft there. Like I said in the opening, turn 7, a great overtaking area. You know, these guys, they need to be smart. They need to be patient. You'll see a ton of passing on the long back straightaway between 16 and 17 because the cars do draft.
Our Visit Florida starting lineup: Anders Krohn on the pole in the 47, Mikael Grenier in the 17. The lineup alongside Tristan Vautier, young driver for Anderson Racing, and Connor Daly, Derek's son, will start in the 4th spot. Row number 3 today, David Ostella, a returning veteran, he'll go 5th, and Joao Orto in the 6th spot in car number 18. Next row as our field is out on pace laps, Jorge Goncalves, who ran in the series last year in the 9 car, Richard Kent from Great Britain. He was a contender here a year ago in that 33. Caio Lara is back, and Connor De Filippi, he's one of the Mazda scholarship drivers.
Yeah, you know what? One of the things Mazda's been great over the years, as we look through the rest of the field here, is promoting young talent and creating a ladder system. And the Star Mazda has been critical about that. They've had so many successful drivers. You can talk about Marco Andretti, Graham Rahal, Michael McDowell, Scott Speed. There are just so many guys that have come out of this series and gone on to great things in the future. And I know as we look at this race today and we look at the field, we're seeing guys that down the road you are going to be seeing, you know, in the top levels of the sport.
A lot of these young drivers have very high aspirations. The Mazda RX-8 safety car out on the course, leading them around. An installation lap for these guys. We have a standing start in this series. Let's jump on board with Jorge Goncalves, one of the Team Apex drivers. Take a look at part of this racetrack.
Yeah, and what you see him doing right now is getting a lot of pressure and temperatures in those tires because they do a standing start.
And these are what's known as the installation laps for the Star Mazda Championship, the Visit Florida Cup. Drivers coming around the course. They'll come to a stop on the front straightaway, line up in staggered rows, and take the green light to get going. We talked to some of the drivers in the series about the idea of making a standing start here at Sebring.
I personally enjoy the standing starts. I think it gives a better opportunity to make positions up because there's a huge opportunity for error. Lots of drivers can stall, lots of drivers can get a good start, but not quite as good as others. So, you know, it's a big opportunity to make up positions, and that's what I'm looking forward to this race.
Yeah, standing start I can gain a lot. Last year I was really good at them. Hopefully it's the same this year. You know, we try to get the clutch set up the same, so we'll see how that goes.
They add some excitement to the races, and you always hope that you are the guy that gets the good start. And starting from pole, you're obviously on the perfect position, so I really hope we can do something about it.
And Johnny, how much pressure does it put on these young drivers to have the standing start?
A ton, but it is so much fun. Now, Anders there was talking about him being an advantage on being on pole, but he's also on the inside line, so he might not have the traction, you know, when he does drop the clutch. But it is one of the most exciting things any driver can ever do.
Last couple of cars pulling into position here on the front straightaway at Sebring International Raceway in Sebring, Florida, ready for the Visit Florida Grand Prix, part of the Visit Florida Cup, which is part of the Star Mazda Championship. Glad to have you with us. Our Visit Florida insider, Lauren Jaden, will drop the green flag. The drivers will be watching a lighting system on the inside pit wall. Johnny, when it goes green, we'll go racing.
Yeah, all the lights are going to be coming up here. Guys are bringing up their reds. Green, there we go.
Thrown away first on the inside of row number 1, heading toward that left-hand turn number 1. They're 3 and 4 wide here at Sebring.
Oh, this is so close. Teammates battling each other. Connor Daly trying the outside.
Tristan Vautier there in the 38 car trying to make some hay. Daly settles into 4th spot. Crone out front early.
You know, and you saw a lot of these guys at the front defending the inside line going into that first corner. Yeah, you know what? Good thing. Oh, man, these guys are already pushing hard side by side in turn 5.
Anders Crone cars into the dirt. Crone having trouble. He's been passed already, getting shuffled back to 2nd, maybe 3rd or 4th.
It's deceiving, Rick. We talked about these guys in the Anderson cars being teammates, but they are competing against each other so hard.
Mikhail Grenier in the 17.
Oh,
leads on the inside. They're 3 wide.
That was sweet, going from 4th to 2nd. These guys getting caught up in the battle, forgetting about the war. Connor Daly, he had a whole year last year to learn how to race these cars and how to be aggressive at the start. And right now, these guys, as much as they were saying Connor Daly, sweet moving into the lead there, as much as they talk about patience, once it goes green, it goes out the window.
All right, let's get down to Todd Lewis. Todd, Connor Daly really impressive here in the first half a lap at Sebring.
Fellas, I can tell you that Connor Daly was not happy with his qualifying effort, and he was on the outside of row number 2, but told me he was held up by traffic. That's why we've seen him charge to the front. He knew he had a faster car, just didn't get a chance to show it in qualifying.
And Rick, that can be so frustrating when you don't get that perfect lap. Oh man, we got guys leaving the racetrack. I don't know whether that car's going to work too well or whether they'll allow that. But, you know, qualifying is critical. But I remember very early on in my career being coached that it's how your car's set up for the race. And right now, Connor Daly's looking very strong.
On board with Joao Arto, one of the Team Apex drivers, down the backstretch, funneling into turn 17. Daly the leader, side by side again for 2nd spot. Michael Grenier was the driver who went off back there on the previous corner. And he's back on the racetrack. Don't know how well that car's going to work. Looks like Daly will lead lap number 1. Your VisitFlorida.com running over the top of your screen. Side by side there for 2nd, Johnny.
Yeah, and these guys are fighting each other so hard. And you saw Connor as he went by start-finish just take a quick glance in his mirror. Right now, all he's trying to do is put together good, hard qualifying laps and break away from these guys.
And he's got an opportunity to do that. If you look in your mirrors in one of these Star Mazda machines, you got to be pleased if you see a lot of side-by-side action behind you.
Yeah, you know they're just slowing each other down as you see the 3 Anderson cars there together. Now, they might have been fast because they were working together in qualifying, but right now, they're not working together.
Connor Daly's opened up about a dozen car length advantage. Back with more of the Visit Florida Grand Prix.
My name is Connor Daly. I drive the number 22 Juncos racing car. And if I win the Visit Florida Cup, I'm going to Miami and South Beach because there's lots of beautiful women there.
Not sure if Connor's mom and dad know that's what he's got planned, but he certainly is stamping himself as a competitor and a contender for the Visit Florida Cup, part of the Star Mazda Championship. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you win something big. I always thought you went to Disney World, which also in Florida.
Of course.
My kid would not be going to South Beach. I know that. I'm going to talk to Derek.
There you go. Well, one of the prizes that the Visit Florida Cup champion will have this season is a chance to take a vacation to their destination of choice in the state of Florida. For 7th, Orto and Connor DiFilippi battling for position here through one of the right-hand corners. You've got so much young talent in this series, Johnny O'Connell. It's amazing to see these guys battle, how intense they are, how determined they are.
Yeah, you know, I love it. And you know, and for me, it's always a treat to see these guys, to talk to them, to get to know them, help them out with their careers if I can. But you are seeing these guys at such a cool part of their career because they are all courage. You know, they've got a lot of talent that they're developing. But, you know, sometimes you don't see the maturity and you see a lot of impatience, you know, taking place. Right now, though, everyone's settled down and is doing a good job.
Back on board, one of the Team Apex machines, Joao Orto in the 18 car. Certainly a contender here in the early going. Lap number 2 being scored in 7th spot. Johnny, talk to me about these race cars. You raced in Star Mazda with a previous generation of chassis. Spec car, spec engine, the Mazda rotary, spec tire. How hard are these cars to hustle?
Yeah, you know what? They are so much fun to drive. You know, and I think that's one of the reasons for the popularity of it. And everyone's also running the same stuff. So what is the difference between the guys at the front and the guys at the back? Well, it's not only just driver ability, but the engineering ability of these teams. You see Anderson Racing, they've got a lot of good history. They've had some strong drivers really give them a lot of good data to work from, because everything from, you know, your ride heights to your tire pressures to wing angles, all these things are going to affect how fast you get around Sebring, you know, International Raceway. Right now, though, Connor Daly, a guy working on his own, has got to figure it out.
Down the long front straightaway here at Sebring International Raceway for 12th, Juan Piedrahita, and the 28, Chris Miller, one of the American Mazda scholarship drivers in the 85. And they've got some company back there in the 13 car as well. That's Michael Fafari, who ran several races a year ago. Another young guy, you know, you meet these young drivers, Johnny, some of them look like they're barely out of 8th or 9th grade. That's not too far from the truth. A lot of young guns in this series.
Very, very young guys. But, you know, in order to have a successful career, you really do want to start as young as you possibly can. You know, you look at how Marco Andretti or Graham Rahal, they were, you know, in their teens. You know, Rafael Matos, another really young guy. Every guy that's gone on to have success has been very young. Scott Speed made it all the way to Formula One. One of the cool things about the series, and we're noticing it right now, we're further back in the pack, and you've still got 3-4 guys, you know, and they're dicing it up like it's for the lead.
Michael Fafari there in the 13, getting racing. Chris Miller in that blue JDC car, the 85. Miller, a young guy, no Mazda speed. They've got a lot of emphasis on his abilities and his talent, but he's kind of stuck right now behind Piedrahita, who comes in a bit unheralded here to the open.
And this is one of those situations where it's beneficial if you have a good coach, you know, in your ear talking and saying, hey, be patient. It's a long season. We're here to learn. You know, no one's really going to, at the end of the year, remember who won Sebring. I hate to say that, but it's true, okay? But at the end of the year, if there's one guy that's standing out, heads and tails, faster than everybody else in the offseason, you want to be that guy.
Still a good 3-car battle for 12th, 13th, and 14th position. Up front, it's still Connor Daly. There's the 28 car. Piedrahita driving that machine. A little further back to 94. That's Hayden Dewerson, young driver from Florida here. High school football star who wants to make his way in motor racing. Final corner at Sebring under the Mobile One Bridge, out onto the front straightaway. And Johnny, a lot of people may not know the history of this place. It was a World War II air base, still a working airfield behind the racetrack. How rough and bumpy is this concrete?
You know, you have no idea. This stuff was poured, I think, in like the 40s, these big monster blocks.
The 66 car drive-through penalty. Jump start for Rusty Mitchell from Midland, Texas in the Motorola car.
Yeah,
wow.
And you see him shaking his head there. He disagrees with it or is just angry about the situation, but you never like it when you get called on that.
Never a good thing. 4 laps on the board. Let's check in with Tom.
Quick update on David Ostella, who gained a couple of spots early on in this race. He was much happier with the car during qualifying. They had struggled since they first took to the track, had been improving it all weekend. Just been passed now by Anders Krohn, and he has fallen back to 4th spot, but he is much happier in the car now than he was when this weekend started.
Yeah, you know what, and that happens. You know, there are times where you struggle with the car all the way up to the race, and then you get in the race and you like your car. You know, there are times where, you know, right now, you know, you start on the pole and then you find yourself working backwards. So, you know, again, at the end of the day, you're trying to collect data for, you know, for the next round and to help build a championship. These guys at the front, though, they, you know, even if they're not leading right now, they are certainly learning and getting things figured out.
Watching this fight for 5th, the 17 and the 9, Michael Grenier from Canada. Jorge Goncalves in the 9, couple of drivers who raced in the series a year ago, all trailing David Ostella there in the red and white 16 car, who runs in 4th. And Johnny, still early on, 1 car around, some trouble for Ian Harms, in harm's way.
That's at the exit of turn 10.
Here's another look.
And you know what? He just brought a very wide line there. You know, turn 10, you've got to be precise. You've got to be within a foot of your apex. Otherwise, your amount of traction just really decreases very rapidly. That's what happened there.
So Harms gets going again. Race leader is Connor Daly here in the Visit Florida Grand Prix season opener for the Star Mazda Championship. Well, part of our crew here this weekend is Lauren Jaden. She's the Beaches and Adventure Insider for VisitFlorida.com. We sent her out to find some of the fun here at Sebring.
When you come to Florida, you never have to look very far for a party. But when you come to Sebring, the party lasts the whole week long.
The people, everybody is so welcoming. I mean, honestly, like, you can go anywhere on the track, and people are like, oh, come on over, have a beer, hang out, da-da-da-da. It's awesome. I don't usually know who wins. Does that answer the question?
One of the initiatives from Visit Florida, Richard Kent driving the ShareAlittleSunshine.org machine here this weekend. Share a Little Sunshine, part of the Visit Florida stable of initiatives here, inviting folks to come and enjoy their vacations in the state of Florida. Back underway with the Visit Florida Grand Prix at Sebring International Raceway. Alongside Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Todd Lewis is on pit road. That battle for 12th, Johnny, continues to rage. Pietrahita and Miller, they've been going at it since the start. Yeah, these guys are doing a really good job. Now, what the 85 car needs to do is really tuck up underneath the rear wing, get that toe. He's close enough right now that he could make that overtaking maneuver going into one. Down toward the exit of pit road, Miller in the blue car on the inside. Looks like he'll move by. He will cleanly and pick up 12th position. Meantime, let's check in the leaders pit area. Todd Lewis with Yonkos Racing.
All right, Ricardo, Connor had exactly the start he wanted, got a good run, and was around and in the lead by the end of the first lap. What's he telling you?
Yeah, I mean, the plan was made. He couldn't move properly, but somehow he made it and appears for surprise for us, leading the race. So we see how's going to be the race so far.
Good race so far for Connor Daly, fellas, going exactly the way he wanted.
You know what? And I doubt Connor's saying a whole lot right now. You know, hopefully they're just talking to him saying, hey, hit your marks, hit your marks. Probably so, but Tristan Vautier in that 38 car starting to reel him in. Vautier just a couple of car lengths back. Connor had gone out to about a 10-car length, 12-car length lead early. David Ostella, meantime, in the 16, running in 7th spot. He's given up a couple of positions here in the first handful of laps. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's very hard a lot of times just running out by yourself alone in the lead. We don't know. You know, Connor looked like he had about a 3-second lead, but he might have made a little bit of a mistake, and it takes so little around this racetrack, missing apex by a foot or whatever, and you can give up that half second. And right now, he is going to be challenged shortly. When you're planning your next vacation, be sure to visit the state's official tourism website, VisitFlorida.com. Deals, ideas, all sorts of things as you prepare to bring your family to Florida on vacation. Up front, it's still Daly in that green and white 22, the 38 car in 2nd spot, Vautier from Canada. And then the 47, pole sitter Anders Krohn, one of the Anderson machines, in 3rd. I'm surprised that Anders Krohn did not hang on the lead. He was quick all weekend long, Johnny, since we unloaded him. Yeah, but it's like I told you, you know, that start when you're, you know, it's good to be the fastest and have pole and everything, but if you're offline, as he was, sometimes it's very difficult to get a good start. And, you know, he tried to control that opening lap, but Connor Daly, you know, he was on a mission and really made it all happen, mostly because the Anderson guys, you know, were battling with themselves. You see Vautier right now doing a really nice job keeping Connor honest, and I'm guessing that he's just going to bide his time. There's plenty of time left to go in this race. Working lap number 8 here. This is a timed event, 45 minutes of competition. The Star Mazda Championship season opener. Rusty Mitchell in that blue and white 66 picks up a spot as he gets by the 31 car driven by Carlos Condi. This is Florida Grand Prix season opener here at Sebring International Raceway. Let's check back in with our Visit Florida Beaches and Adventure Insider. Here's Lauren Jaden.
We're hearing more and more about women in racing, and this car was actually driven at Sebring by pioneer woman racer Janet Guthrie. This Austin Healey is really a fan favorite here at the Gallery of Legends.
Because it's kind of a 40-year reunion for the cars to come back here. They raced here in 1970. We thought it'd be an opportunity to do that, and we're very proud to have them here. everybody's just been so friendly and welcoming, and here at the track in Sebring, the town of Sebring, everybody's just been wonderful. And on top of it all, the weather's been gorgeous.
Back at Sebring, season opener, the Visit Florida Cup, part of the Star Mazda Championship. With Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Todd Lewis is on pit road. 8 laps are complete. Connor Daly continuing to lead. And Johnny, Vaudier, Grenier, some of these young drivers trying to track that 22 down. Haven't had a lot of luck so far.
Yeah, you know, and Connor's doing a really solid job. I'm watching his eyes, where he's looking. And, I mean, he is so focused on what he needs to do right now that unless he gives a little bit of a mistake, and I don't expect to see one, Vaudier will have a very difficult time. You know, Connor needs to make that mistake for Vaudier to get close, maybe use the draft, but right now Connor's doing a really nice job.
Anders Krohn in the 47 in third. There's the 9 car. Jorge Goncalves has a good day going. David Estella, we talked with him earlier, and some other cars filling in. Connor DeFilippi, one of the Mazda Scholarship drivers in that 11 car, running along as well, solidly in the top 10. Mazda Speed, a big part of their effort is bringing young drivers along, giving them opportunities. Here's Todd Lewis with more on the ladder system.
Mazda's involvement in motorsports, of course, one of the keys is the Mazda Speed Motorsports Driver Development Program. Well, we've got 2 participants in Star Mazda this year who are real beneficiaries of that program.
You're right. Connor DeFilippi from San Clemente, California. A great young man, comes from a great family. He's come up and really is that first repeat champion. So he got a scholarship from the karting shootout here at Sebring. He went to the Skip Barber National Series, won that championship. Now he's in Star Mazda, and I know he's got aspirations to go further. And then you got Chris Miller, you know, running out of the JDC camp, has a F2000 background, and that's a series we've just added to the ladder this year, running with a great team out of Minnesota. And you take those steps, you know, learning a new car, learning a more technical car, and then taking it up to what is, you know, the Star Mazda series. A great opportunity for both young men.
Chris Miller and Connor DeFilippi, just 2 of the success stories in the Mazda Speed Motorsports Driver Development Ladder.
You know, Rick, and one of the things that we really didn't talk about there, you know, John Doonan has been so committed to this program and promoting Mazda and their involvement in racing over the years, and they are responsible for so much great talent. Any young guy that gets an opportunity like that, it's very similar to, you know, McLaren asking a guy out of go-karts, hey, we want you in our ladder system because we know that you're the future for the sport.
No question about it. Connor Daly, the winner of one of those Mazda scholarships as well a couple of years ago, showing his skills by leading this season opener in the Visit Florida Cup here at Sebring International Raceway in Sebring, Florida. But he's still got a lot of guys just kind of nipping at his heels here. He doesn't have this one put away by any means.
Yeah, but he should be feeling confident. I mean, if I was him, I'd be feeling pretty good. You know, you're getting your split times. You know, you're not being closed down on. You know, this has to be an important race for Connor. This is where his dad, Derek Daly, I think got his last victory, which was a 12-hour race. So the 12 hours of Sebring. So, you know, a little bit of family history.
Michael Ferrari in that red and white 13 diving to the inside of Keo Lara in the 19. A couple of drivers who raced in this series a year ago, side by side on a 1.
And Chow just left it a little bit too late there. And, you know, it's a shame because really he could have been a little bit more aggressive defending that position.
Michael Ferrari, the Ferrari paving car. Now the driver of the 19 there, Lara, put a wheel off into the dirt. Johnny, that can really upset your momentum and your rhythm.
Well, and you get pickup. You know, your tires aren't going to be clean, and that was your right side tires. Your next corner's a left-hander, so you're going to lose a little bit there.
So Lara trying to settle back in, get that rhythm back, try to reel back in. Michael Ferrari, see if he can make a move as this fight for position rages on. When you've got a situation like this, all the motors so equal, the tires so, I mean, you've really got to take care of your equipment here to be fast.
You've got to be good. You've got to be consistent, hit your marks. You watch these guys at the front, you know, every single time it's with it. Oh, you see Connor, he's getting a little bit loose there now. Okay, you know, he's showing, that's the first sign of weakness that I've seen, him running into the corner a little bit deeper than he wants to, and, you know, if you get a down change a little bit wrong, one of those guys dropped the wheel there. I don't think it was Connor because it looks like he opened up a little bit of gap there.
Tristan Vautier from France in second spot, starting to reel in Daly. If you want to know more about the Star Mazda Championship Series, website is starmazda.com, marking its 20th anniversary. Visit Florida Cup, 7 races, championship within a championship. We'll have TV coverage all season long for you right here. Daly by half a dozen car lengths over Vautier in second spot, but he's got his hands full. Here comes Anders Krohn in that 47, the pole sitter.
Yeah, you know, and Krohn's obviously, I'm sure, a little bit disappointed to be running third. If I'm Vautier, what I'm doing is I'm not just watching the line. Whoops.
Another car off, Carlos Condi, the Team GDT car out of Puerto Rico, one of the Masters Division competitors, off into the grass here, gets it gathered up, back underway.
Looks decently, unlikely there's any damage to that car. One of the great things about Sebring is you can usually fall off without damaging the car. But, you know, getting back to what I was saying, Vautier, he needs to keep his eyes on Connor Daly and see if he's checking his mirrors. I always felt in open wheel stuff, once I got the guy in front of me watching his mirrors, he was mine.
Ha-ha, there you go. Down into turn number 1. As we take a look at the 94 car, that's a car further back in the field. Hayden Duerson, the young high school football star out of Florida. Lead battle continues to rage. Vautier from France starting to reel in Connor Daly from Indiana. Daly has led since lap number 1. Vautier really closing in now.
And all he wants to do right now is Vautier stay close and really try to put a little bit of pressure going into 15. That's about 2 or 3 corners away. That's where Connor made the mistake last time. When you're running second, you're trying to weaken him. And right there you saw Connor get a little bit loose, not enough for Vautier to take advantage of it.
Looks like Daly is not getting off the corners as well as he was earlier.
Run him out wide there, Connor. Oh, very bold move by Vautier there.
Tristan Vautier takes over going into one of the final corners here at Sebring. So we have a new race leader for the first time since lap number 1. Tristan Vautier shouldering his way by Connor Daly to go to the point in the Visit Florida Cup, the season opener for Star Mazda here at Sebring. We welcome you back to Sebring International Raceway, the Visit Florida Grand Prix season opener of the Visit Florida Cup, the Star Mazda Championship. With Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Todd Lewis on pit road, and now Tristan Vautier starting to open up some real estate on Connor Daly, who led so much of this race.
You know, Connor was looking so strong, but you could see him just losing a little bit of rear traction when he was entering 15, but that time when Vautier got by, he got a little bit loose entering 13, and then on the exit of 13, and that's all the mistake that Vautier needed to get by.
Anders Krohn, a series veteran as well, young guy, of course, from Sweden. He's got to be licking his chops, seeing that Daly apparently has fallen off the pace.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's blood in the water to him, and all these guys are so hungry to do well. You know, Connor, I'm sure, is trying to focus with what might be a loose race car, how to change the style, drive it a little bit better. Vautier, meanwhile, in the front is doing what Connor was earlier, just looking ahead, trying to hit his marks, make no mistakes. Oh, you see him go off there.
Way off. Wow.
Ran it in there a little bit hard. Hopefully didn't mess up the under tray of his car there.
Take one more look at it here.
Yeah,
Lock the brakes.
Yeah, no, actually, I think that was probably a bad down change because you saw him lose the rear end just at turn-in. Sometimes in these cars, if you leave your gear change a little bit late, that alone going down to that lower gear will initiate a little bit of a skid.
Krohn gets back on the racetrack in front of the 17 car. The car Michael Grenier started on the outside pole, but he loses a lot of track position. Well past the halfway point now, the Anderson team, Dan Anderson there on the right. Got to be happy with where their guys have run this weekend, but you don't want to lose track position at this point. After a dozen laps, here's where the Anderson drivers show 1, 3, 4, and then 9th and 20.
Yeah, you know what? But again, when you see that a team is running 5 cars, that's 5 cars that they can get data from. And, you know, and they're a strong team. They've won championships. So good talent, you know, whether it be from the States or Europe or you know, Central America, you know, that's the team that they want to talk to because they have the data to give you the good setup. And that's what these young guys need.
Visit Florida.com running order, top of your screen. Head to visitflorida.com, the official website of Florida Tourism. Find out more in time for your next vacation. There's the 17 car. Grenier lining up alongside Anders Krohn on the front row earlier today. Hasn't really been a factor for the race lead at this point, but it's a good battle for position a little bit further back. Krohn running third, Grenier running in the 4th spot. Let's get down to pit road. Todd Lewis.
27 car, Court Vernon making a pit stop. The car is misfiring. They'll have a look. They had problems with the fuel pump. They seem to have it going again and corrected. He'll send him back out, but it could be a long day for this member of Anderson Racing.
You know, isn't that always the way it is? You start bragging about a guy and then one of his cars comes into the pits.
And certainly not the normal situation for one of the Anderson cars. Court Vernon, a young American driver of the Man Group Boats car, Qualified 12th, had gotten up to 9th, but loses a lot of track position. And Grenier, way off the course. Everybody seems to be having trouble down here at 15 and 16.
You know what? And just me running the racetrack, it's losing grip, okay? And particularly in 15, it's a very difficult entry, you know. And when you've got that guy in front of you, a lot of times your eyes are a little bit slow getting into the apex. And right now, that does seem to be giving, you know, most of these guys the hardest time on the racetrack.
Now, Grenier gets back on the racetrack, doesn't lose a lot of track position to Anders Krohn as they fight for third. The 9 car getting back in the mix. That's Jorge Goncalves. He sits back there in 5th right now. But if you're Grenier, you know time is starting to be a factor here. This is a timed event, 45 minutes of racing. You got to make your move.
Oh yeah, there is no being patient. You know, early on in the race, you know, you want to let it settle down a little bit. But as you see guys going away from you, guys making mistakes, you've got to be up at the front in order to make things happen. Right now, you see Connor Daly. I think he's just holding on. We got another problem here for all he's got.
Couple of cars off, heading onto the backstretch, and this may bring out a full course yellow. The 94 car, that's Hayden Durson. We talked about him earlier. The 28 machine, one of the cars involved in that incident, Juan Piedrahita. Let's take a look. This is Piedrahita's Team Apex on board. Oh, I see what happened. Durson went around in front of him.
Yeah, and all he did was lift to try to adjust and not run into him. You know, these cars are so sensitive to throttle control. All it takes when you're in the middle of a corner, if you lift off or snap off the throttle, you're going for a ride.
All right, so cars off in the grass. Durson refiring. Looks like the other car, Piedrahita's machine, has stalled there at turn 16. So that could bring out a full course yellow. We will see. Let's take the opportunity to get in a break here in the Visit Florida Grand Prix. All right, welcome back to Sebring International Raceway. Our coverage of the Visit Florida Grand Prix season opener for the Star Mazda Championship's 20th anniversary season. Also part of the Visit Florida Cup. Under caution, here comes the 28 car onto pit road. This is Juan Piedrahita from Mexico City, the Petrosur car. Off in the grass, and Johnny, you see all that dirt on those tires. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, you know, you never like to see that, you know, but when you have a mistake in the first race of the season, you learn from it, you move on.
38 car, meantime, continues to run up front. Tristan Vautier will be the restart leader. Connor Daly will restart in second spot. Anders Krohn will get another opportunity. He will restart from third position with the time clock starting to run down. Now, earlier this weekend, the new Visit Florida Cup Championship was officially unveiled here at Sebring International Raceway. An appreciative group of drivers, families, fans at the Star Mazda hauler. Chris Thompson from Visit Florida helping Robert Davis of Mazda unveil this beautiful new trophy that will go to the Visit Florida Cup winner.
The Mazda Visit Florida relationship is truly a win-win. You know, it's 1 and 1 equal 3. It allows us to get Star Mazda back on TV. It allows Visit Florida and the Florida Tourism Board to get in some important markets in the northern part of the U.S. and Canada, and those guys need a little sunshine, and certainly Florida delivers that for them.
We're always looking for new and innovative and creative ways to carry our message, our destination marketing message to our target audience, and Mazda certainly has a great brand and great reach and relevance to some of the same people that we're trying to talk to. The races that this trophy is associated with are some of our key origin markets, so we worked real hard with Mazda to try to figure out what's the win-win, how do we reach our target audiences that we're both trying to get to, and it's been a great partnership. We're excited about it.
And we're thrilled to have Visit Florida on board with us this year. Visit Florida Cup races include this event at Sebring, our doubleheader coming up at New Jersey, the other doubleheader of the season at Autobahn in Joliet, Illinois. We'll wrap up the year with 2 Visit Florida Cup Championship races at Mosport in Canada, Road Atlanta in October. You'll see all the coverage all season right here. Getting ready to go green, coming to the final corner, looking for a restart here. And Johnny O, if you are Connor Daly or Anders Krohn, what are you trying to get done here?
Well, Connor missed his opportunity. I'm trying to really put myself into a position where I can, you know, sneak by Vautier. Vautier pulled the trigger at the right time and opened up the gap that he needed to Connor. Oh, there we got a move going into turn 1. Sweet.
The 9 car making a big move. Jorge Goncalves trying to steal third away from Anders Krohn. He gets by.
You know, a really good move, and he's moved up several positions from the start. You know, he's obviously got a very good car. You know, a lot of times you have a full course caution like this, guys that were caught in midfield, you know, but had a good car, they get that opportunity to get back up at the front and make some positions.
Connor Daly in the 22 of the Indec College Network machine thought he would try to make a move on the race leader. Vautier at that restart didn't have enough to get the job done. Here comes Goncalves in the 9 car.
Oh, big mistake. Big mistake. You can't afford to do that. You know, now why does it happen? Well, underneath the caution, you know, you get some pickup on your tires. That's the first time they've gone into 7 really hard. He locked the front, missed his apex.
We've been hearing some radio chatter from the Juncos team that maybe Daly's got a little gearbox problem. Is that one of those situations? Oh, one car way off and nearly into the barrier. David Ostella from Ontario in Canada nearly waxed the wall. He's out of harm's way. I think we'll stay green.
Yeah, don't know what happened there, whether, you know, he locked the rears, but he got himself going backwards well before the corner. But again, it's one of those deals, Rick, you know, again, these cars, if you're not scrubbing your tires really aggressively, you know, when that track goes green and you're racing again, a lot of times, your first couple corners, you are struggling.
And a reminder, before you plan your next vacation, go to visitflorida.com. Get a look at some of the deals and ideas. Put together a terrific Florida memory for you and your family. Down the backstretch here at Sebring International Raceway. Tristan Vautier in the 38 car out in front. Jorge Goncalves in the 9-second. I don't know. What do you think, Johnny? Can Goncalves get up there and make a bid for this?
You know, he's looking really good. If I'm Vautier, I'm a little bit worried because, you know, I was not, you know, if I started where Vautier was starting, I'd be looking at the cars immediately around me, you know, so to see a car back there, you don't know who he is, how strong he is, that a lot of times is concerning to you.
Connor Daly runs third, Anders Krohn fourth. VisitFlorida.com running order, top of your screen. Goncalves then make side-by-side battle down into the corner here. That's Chris Miller in the 85 trying to pick up another position, and he does. The Mazda Speed Scholarship driver grabs another spot going down into 1.
Nice and clean, and hopefully, you know, they're telling him on the radio, be smart, be smart. Oh, side-by-side for this area is tough.
Kale Lara in the 19 car giving up another spot to Rusty Mitchell's Motorola 66. Meantime, let's check back in with Lauren Jaden, our Beaches and Adventure Insider. Our coverage of the Visit Florida Grand Prix will return in a moment.
This is the 58th year of Sebring, so as you can imagine, there's a lot of history and tradition involved with it, and you can check out a lot of it on the walls right here. And actually, look at this. This car, this Mazda, is racing here at Sebring in the 12-hour race, which I think is personally pretty cool. And check this out. Some artists even like to use Sebring as their studio.
I just love the sports cars. They're just so beautiful, and you know, they beg to be painted in beautiful situations like Sebring. Weather's always beautiful, and just love the race.
Hi, I'm Tristan Vautier, driving car number 38. If I win the Visit Florida Cup, I'd go to Palmetto, Florida, driving at Anderson Race Park in the morning and going to the beach on the afternoon. Bye.
I think Tristan may be onto something here. You know, he's had a great day. He's gotten himself the lead. Laps winding down. Clock starting to run out. He might just be the guy.
You know, he's looking really good, but, you know, there's so many awesome things to see down here in Florida. I mean, I might get and watch a space shuttle launch. You know, there's only a couple of those left, and, you know, all that stuff happens in Florida. But right now, the guy from France is owning Sebring. He's doing a great job.
He is. Tristan Vautier out in front. Meantime, Connor DiFilippi there in the 11 car, one of our Mazda Speed Scholarship drivers, up into 8th position for a Star Mazda debut. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, you know, and with some very experienced guys. Again, it's all about getting laps, learning.
Vautier the leader, but Goncalves, who's raced in this series previously, this is not his first season, right there, nipping at his heels with a short bit of time remaining.
And looking really good. I mean, if he can hold that gap going through 15, 16, this next complex of corners, get a good run down the back straightaway, he might be able to get a toe, and he's looking good through this section.
Hoping Vautier would make a mistake here, heading down into the final quarter. Up on the grass!
You know what? But for him dropping those wheels, he was close enough to make it happen. He still might be. Right now, they're going through the gearbox, getting in top gear. Vautier checking his mirrors. Got to run it in there deep.
Big sweeping right-hander here, yeah. Goncalves just isn't close enough.
You really got to, you know, you've got to plan your passes out. It's like chess. You know, he's got to come out of the corner onto the straightaway as we go into this last lap. This is important. Be patient.
Vautier covers the spot down into turn 1. Tristan Vautier trying to close the deal. 20 laps complete. Final time around this 3.7-mile, mostly concrete layout. Visit Florida.com running order, top of your screen. Keep track of your favorite driver. And Connor Daly hanging on to third there in the Juncos 22 car. DiFilippi in 8th, Chris Miller in 9th, Rusty Mitchell in 10th. Good young American pilots. Kale Lara in 11th. Jerry Kraut, one of the Masters competitors, back in 12th.
Boy, you look at Vodier right now, has been doing a really nice job, leaving his break in super late. Nice tight lines, and what he did right there was beautiful. He dropped wheels to the inside, throwing a little bit of dirt on the track. You know, maybe not the most sportsmanlike thing, but last lap, am I doing that? Yeah, I'm probably going to make the guy, you know, behind me work a little bit harder.
Tactics would enter into this? I'm stunned.
Well, it's the Florida Cup, man. You want to win.
Tristan Vodier from France is out in front. Jorge Goncalves in second spot in the 9 Cup.
Goncalves looking very strong, though. That car, I think, might be a little bit better if he's patient, set things up right.
Anders Krohn, meantime, trying to hang on to 5th in that blue 47 Orto. In the 18, right behind him, and they've got company there as well in that battle. Johnny, if you're up front fighting for this win, what are you trying to do? You're trying to outbrake the guy you're chasing? Trying to get off the corner quicker? What are you looking for?
Well, if I'm leading, I'm trying to actually kind of change my line, change my mid-corner speed some so that the guy behind me has a difficult time really figuring out what I'm trying to do. But I do not want him close to me going down along straightaway where he might be able to get a draft. If I'm second, I'm trying to show a nose, put a lot of pressure on the guy leading, hoping he makes a mistake.
Goncalves diving into the final couple of corners here at Sebring. We'll see if he's got anything for Tristan Vodier. Out under the bridge, heading to the start-finish line. Looks like Vaudier's got this one in hand. Vodier waves to the crowd. He is the winner of the Visit Florida Grand Prix, the season opener of the Visit Florida Cup in the Star Mazda Championship. Goncalves is second. The Anderson Racing boys pretty darn happy.
You know, and rightly they should be. I mean, they did a really good job. They qualified well. They won the race. You know, Goncalves, you know, he's got to be pretty happy, you know, as well, coming from 8th or 9th on the grid. So, you know, those guys at the front did a super job.
Tristan Vodier in his first series start from France comes home the winner to open up the 20th anniversary season of the Star Mazda Championship. We'll talk to the winner in a moment. Our coverage today brought to you by Visit Florida. Your Florida side is calling. Unleash it and enjoy all the sun and fun Florida has to offer. Discover a whole new side of you and the Sunshine State at visitflorida.com. And by Mazda. On any given weekend, more Mazdas are road race than any other brand. Back at Sebring International Raceway, Tristan Vodier celebrating a moment ago, climbing out of his race car with his win in the Visit Florida Grand Prix, the season opener for the Visit Florida Cup and the Star Mazda Championship. Todd with the win.
Tristan, you didn't get the lead off the start, but it was a great race, a mistake you took advantage of and got the lead.
Yeah, very hard race. Hard pressure at the end with this Apex car that was quick and hard to keep the lead after the restart and keep my mind focused, but I managed it, so I'm very happy for the team. Thank you to all the team that did a great job since the start of the season. Thanks to my mechanic, everybody. Thanks to my engineer. Thanks to Dan, Johnny, everyone.
Congratulations, Tristan Vodier. First standing start in Star Mazda, and he is on the top step of the podium.
Take a look at our final running order here today in the Visit Florida Grand Prix as Tristan Vodier enjoys a little water. Goncalves gave it everything he had. Johnny couldn't quite get there.
You know what? But somebody that we're going to have to watch. Connor Daly, this is an important year for him. Last year he had the opportunity to win some races, learn. He's expected to win a championship this year.
How disappointed is Anders Krohn running 5th after qualifying first?
You know, probably a little bit, but you know, again, comes away from this race having learned a lot, and hopefully the next round he'll be stronger.
Take a look at the second 10 in the running order. Rusty Mitchell in that 66 car. Jerry Kraut will make it to the podium as well. David Ostella, Dom Bastien back there. Richard Kent, unfortunately, never even got to take the green flag. Well, let's talk to our runner-up, Jorge Goncalves, who's standing by with Todd.
Jorge, slow and steady paid off today. Second place, terrific run.
Yeah, it's really good race. I like the race, but I started pit 7. It's really hard, and the restart go to pit 3. It's really good team as a new team, but I like that. And finish P2, that's really good. My first podium, and I like that.
Congratulations on the first podium. Great run for Team Apex.
Team Apex right behind Anderson Racing here. Fans certainly enjoyed the season opener for the Visit Florida Cup here at Sebring International Raceway. Johnny, let's take another look back at what we saw earlier, that pass to the lead. It was a wild move here by Vodier.
Yeah, no, very strong move to the outside. Connor very easily could have released him and forced him out into the rubber, but he didn't. You know, these guys race each other clean. Hopefully they do that all year.
Well, Connor Daly runs 3rd today. He's with us.
Connor, it's not the top step of the podium where I know you wanted to be, but not a bad start to the season.
No, yeah, I mean, it was good. We had a good first half of the race, led the race, and unfortunately the car just went off a little bit and got a little bit too loose. And then had a bit of gearbox problems as well, so things just kind of started to go south towards the second half of the race, but I just tried to hold on, and still good points finish, and I'm ready for the rest of the year.
Congratulations.
It's a long season, Johnny. A long Visit Florida Cup, long Star Mazda Championship. Some great action here at Sebring today.
Yeah, you know, and you know, our top drivers performed well. Maybe everyone didn't finish how they wanted, but we saw a lot of good things for the future. Everyone raced cleanly, no contact, so there's a lot to build on as the season goes on.
StarMazda.com is the official series website. Visit Florida.com for all your Florida tourism information. For Johnny O'Connell, Todd Lewis, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our winner, Tristan Vautier. We will see you next time with more coverage of the Visit Florida Cup.